Hey everyone, it is Deanda and thanks a bunch for tuning in today. So I just want to show you what I do for paper organization to keep myself organized with my teacher's editions and then just the worksheets that I use for student work. So this year I wanted to get one of those really nice Michaels rolling carts with the drawers, but it wasn't in the budget. And then I also considered like the stacking paper trays from IKEA. Or actually, I don't think those are stacking. It's just like a set of paper trays. Those are really nice. I also wanted those. However, those were also not in the budget. So I said, how can I just use what I have to stay organized? Because I didn't want to spend a lot of money. This was my first year as a mommy at the beginning of the school year. And I just didn't want to use a lot of my family's money buying things for the classroom like I have typically done in years past. So 2 summers ago, I bought these magazine holders from IKEA, and 2 of them, these 2, which look a little bit older, I was actually using for something else in the classroom. So I said, let me just repurpose these. I grabbed them from across the room, brought them to my desk, and I just put folders in them. And so for every folder, I have a different color, and these were in the budget because they were only about 10 cents each from Staples, so I got as many different colors as I could. I put a label on the front of each one with the subject, and then on the spine I wrote the subject on the front of the spine and then also the subject on the back of the spine. This way, when it's in the folder, when it's in the magazine holder like this, I don't have to open it out to see. I can just look at the spine and see the label. So what I've done is I've organized all 4 magazine holders according to the flow of the day. So I start off every day teaching reading. So the first folder I have here is for reading. I don't reach for this every day because typically we don't do worksheets for reading. Students have something called a specs log and they do all of their work in the specs log. But I do use a rubric to grade their specs logs work, and so that's what I keep in here. We do something called intellectual art at the end of every reading unit, and we usually don't grade it, but I've decided since they worked so hard on it, I actually am going to grade it, and so I just made this rubric yesterday for them. We'll be finishing up intellectual art on Monday. After reading, we do math. I use the Saxon math curriculum, so I keep the math lessons in here. And then also any worksheets that I need for math are in the math folder. And so on Monday, we're going to be on lesson 35. And so I have all the 35 worksheets here. And then we'll also have a fact assessment, which is in here. And then I keep the test key for math in here also, so I can just easily reach for it. After that, we do phonics, language, writing, so that's all spelling, that's all in here. I have my phonics and language, TE, my test key for phonics and language, the spelling, TE is in here. And then I usually have a volunteer to rip out the pages for the spelling homework, and I keep those in a folder for spelling. So that's all the second one. And I don't always close the teacher's edition. Sometimes I just leave it open to whatever page I'm on. After lunch, I teach Bible, and then we end the day with either science or social studies. So I have my Bible folder and then my Bible TE, and then this says history. I guess in private school they say history instead of social studies, but really it is social studies. There is some history in the curriculum, but it's social studies. So I have that here. And something I found out is you can't really have the 2 teacher's editions by each other because they get all tangled up. So I make sure that I keep a folder in between the teacher's editions, and these are just some miscellaneous folders over here. They're not necessarily for a subject. Like this one is homework, so I have all my homework packets that I've made since the beginning of the school year. I just keep them all in here, and I had a coworker the other day tell me like, oh, that looks really good, and I was like, thanks. This is the same one that I've been using for the last 3 or 4 years. But this year I finally found out about dafont.com, and so now I have all the cute, pretty fonts, and it just looks way better than it ever has in the past. But I always have a peek at the week, what we're learning right now, upcoming events, any notes, and then the memory verse is always on here. And science. So we have, this is my science folder. So any worksheets that I need for students for the experiments that we're doing, or any videos that we watch that have the accompanying worksheet, they all go in here. And we use the STEM Scopes curriculum, so all of that is all online. There's no TE for it. So that's how I stay organized. I also have this right here, and it just has lots of different file folders in it that I use to help me stay organized, and I keep my planner right here. It fits perfectly on the end. So that's it for paper organization. I want to know, what do you do to keep your papers organized in your classroom? Go ahead and let me know in a comment down below. That's all, and thanks for watching, guys. All right, just kidding. So I was editing my video. I came home and I realized that I did not mention something that I wanted to say while I was still in my classroom. So I said, let me just hop on outside because the lighting inside is terrible. So I'm just here in my backyard. But nonetheless, I did want to say that, you know, it's not necessary that you break the budget or spend a ton of money to have systems in your classroom that are efficient and effective and work well. At the end of the day, students are not going to really care whether I had the white plain boxes instead of like something fancy or pretty or better looking. And, you know, it's just not important to stress over the little things that don't really matter. So my whole organizational system cost probably $6. I think it was maybe $5 for the pack of 4 magazine holders, or maybe 5 came in a pack. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But it was just a few bucks for the magazine holders, probably $1 for all the folders, plus more that you didn't even see. And it works really well for me. This is the first year that I have been really, really, really organized to where I don't have piles of paper just slowly stacking up and getting so high on my desk or in my classroom. There were a few years of teaching where I went through this phase of having no desk at all in my classroom, and I only used the kidney table, and then I would have stacks just getting really high on my kidney table, or just, you know, all around the room, little stacks of papers. Now that I'm using this system, I don't have that problem anymore at all, because even if I do have stacks like that are starting to form on my desk, I can just knock it out like that. I don't get overwhelmed by the papers anymore because I have a system that works, and I know when I'm ready to put the things away exactly where each paper is going to go. So I actually was surprised myself at how well this system worked, because all summer I was thinking that I was going to get something like one of the rolling carts or something like that, but just, you know, folders works fine. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys. And it's not to say like that there's anything wrong with buying the nicer, fancier, prettier things, because, you know, if that's what you want to do, perfectly fine. No judgment here. If it was in the budget, I would have gotten it myself, but because this is working so well, I don't feel like I need to anymore. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will definitely see you in the next video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, definitely consider doing that now so that you can see more videos about things that I'm doing in my classroom and some of the experiences that I have as a teacher. Bye, guys.